Hi and welcome back to our channel. My name is Jörg, which is German for George, here at Find a Job in Germany in Berlin. Getting laid off is a very serious matter and it truly sucks. I want to talk about the consequences in case you have gotten laid off recently, and I want to specifically address the most important things and steps that you need to take in order for you to get back on track. Here we go. There's, I would say, 4 different things that need to be looked at separately when it comes to being laid off. And I want to talk about first your legal status in Germany, because a lot of people may be wondering what happens to my visa, what happens to my permit that I have, and what are the consequences here. Second, we need to talk about your social security and what possible effects there might be there, who you need to get in touch with, etc. Third, naturally, we're going to talk about your CV and how you need to update your CV rather sooner than later, of course. And fourth, we'll talk about the consequences for the interview rounds, because when you get another invite, you'll probably be asked about your current status and your situation. So let's start with the very first item on the list, and that is the most concerning one. People are wondering all the time, in case they have lost their job in Germany, what happens to their legal status in Germany. First of all, the good news is that you are not going to be facing any consequences right away. You don't have to worry about that. And you don't have to worry that there's going to be some immigration officers that will be knocking on your door the next day and will be taking you to the airport. You don't have to really worry about that. However, of course, it's a serious matter. You will be given an extra 3 months from the day of the end of the termination of your contract to find a new job. So let's just say that you were just let go and it's been during probation. Most likely the notice period that you're looking at is 2 weeks. So they will be giving you the termination notice, then another 14 days will pass, and that will be the day that your contract will have officially ended. From that day of your contract having officially ended, will you now have another 3 months to look for a job? From my experience, not just in our coaching program, but also with friends, relatives, whoever has lost their jobs maybe during some point in time in their lives, it is totally doable and realistic for you to get back on track in that period. We've also had this situation in our coaching program on a regular basis, because things happen, life happens, and oftentimes there is nothing really that you can do about it. What is important is that you act quickly and that you take the right steps. So 3 months, generally I would say, is a realistic time period in which you can totally get and secure a new offer. Anything beyond is subject to discretion from the immigration authorities, because this is also what we've seen over the years, is that you will be, of course, required to send an email to immigration right away. That's the first step that you really need to take. And what you do is you send an email to your local Ausländerbehörde, your local immigration, your beloved local immigration office. I know they really suck big time, but you want to be on your toes here, and you want to send an email with your data, with your passport, the scans of your permit, and the termination letter, everything already for your caseworker to have everything in one file ideally, or you send it in separate PDFs, but you want to make those attachments right away. And then you inform them that you've been let go. You want to find out about the right email address in case you don't have a caseworker yet, but they need to know right away, okay? That's the first thing that will be pertinent and crucial for you. You essentially inform them about the termination of your contract and that you're actively looking for a new job, and will, of course, update them about this soon. Again, full name, who you are, date of birth, your current address, your passport number as stated in your passport. Those are the things that they're going to need. And in case you don't have a caseworker there yet, this email to the generic email, at least from what we've heard, generally leads to them assigning you a caseworker. Step two, you need to inform your healthcare provider. Let's just assume you're with Techniker Krankenkasse, for example. A lot of our coaches in our program, they sign up with them because they have an English-speaking service. And no, I don't get money for saying this, but you are gonna be required to inform them as well, because you no longer will be having an employer to cover 50% of your Social Security. Remember how that is always shown on your payslip. They will then also put you in a certain category so that you don't have to pay the full amount of healthcare contributions anymore. In fact, the way it's going to work is that you will still be covered as long as they know that you are unemployed, and they will be asking you to pay a lower contribution each month. That's what that notice is about. That's why that email is about. When you're with Techniker Krankenkasse, I believe you can do it online. I'm pretty sure you also want to check whether or not it's doable for you in your situation with any other healthcare provider. Try to do it online and see that you get a kind of confirmation that this is sorted out. That was step two. Step three, let us now talk about your CV. It's important that you update your CV right away. And what does that mean? You enter your latest project as your newest at the very top. Step three, you need to update your CV ASAP. And how do you do that? Remember how in your CV you have your latest project and work experience already at the very top of your work experience section. This is now where you hit enter twice and you want to add your latest project with the company, your employer, that you started working for. We're now talking about the scenario that this is your first employer since you've come to Germany. It can also be the second employer since you've come to Germany, or the third or the fourth. It doesn't really matter. What matters here is that you use the time to update it now. And it needs to be complete, covering the entire period that you've been here. Let's just assume you've only had one employer in Germany. Then make sure that the way that you are adding this new role, this extra experience to your CV needs to match whatever kind of experience you already put in before. And when I'm talking about matching, I'm talking about content and design, as we always keep on emphasizing here. Let's talk about content. You need to put in the company name, the city and location, and the designation that you were working as, of course, followed by the responsibilities. Please remember to focus on responsibilities and results. In fact, any CV needs to be results-oriented. We have talked about this in our channel quite some time. If you need more guidance on this, you want to check out some of more detailed CV videos of ours here in our channel. Next, when it comes to your work experience section, make sure that you update and also adapt the format. Do not switch to a new font. Do not change to any funky font sizes. You want to make sure that it looks really concise and absolutely clean when you're now adding that extra experience. The period will most likely state something like August 2024 until December 2024. That is what it is. Yeah, and generally it is also advisable not to lie here as if you're still working for them. You want to stop in December 2024 if that's when they were letting you go, or that's when your contract actually ended. If you're putting in dash today, the company that is interviewing you will be assuming that you're still employed by them. And you want to be open and honest here. Again, life happens, shit happens, but it is much more in your control when you're actually being honest and you're asked about what happened. Fourth, let's talk about the interview rounds. And this is where most likely, once you start applying, which you have to do heavily and regularly, you're going to be asked about what happened to you, okay? If they're interested and they're inviting you for a first round, again, that means they can totally see themselves hiring you. Be open and frank, just like I already said. It's okay to say that, for example, there were financial constraints in the department that you were working at, so it does not fall back on you as much. Of course, there's different reasons for the termination of contracts, and sometimes it may also be performance related, and maybe they didn't feel like you were up for the role. You don't have to be honest here. It's okay for you to say, not just strategically, but also legally, to say there were financial constraints, and during my probation period, I was, of course, the first to go because I was the easiest target. Don't sound like a victim here, though. You don't want to copy paste what I just said. This is the notion that I'm providing with you here. You want to state it, for example, as if upright. I really enjoyed working there. At some point in time, I received this notice that my contract would be terminated, and everybody was really sorry about this, but they said there were financial and constraints and business reasons behind it. That is all you have to say at this point in time. They may ask for a more detailed explanation later, but here it's important that you really pass a first round. And it's okay if the company, most likely they won't do any background checks that thoroughly, at least, will leave it at that, and then they're going to check you for your hard skills, and they're going to be much more interested in that. Naturally, you want to make sure that you're always in the process with 1 or 2 or 3 companies at the same time, which again requires you to really, really scale the numbers of your applications, which brings me, of course, always back to it's a numbers game. In our coaching program, we've had this before. It's a serious situation, but it's nothing that cannot be handled. And our, let's say, performance in that regard is pretty good. Generally, people are able to get back on track, and so will you. You just have to do it step by step, and you have to be quick. In the event that you are registered as unemployed, we do provide a new service here at Find a Job in Germany, which is specifically dedicated for folks who are, again, registered as unemployed already and who have already talked to their caseworker to apply for a voucher, a coaching voucher, which will give you access to our program for free. There needs to be a couple of criteria fulfilled, and we can guide you on that. So you want to book a call with us and see whether or not that is something that you might just not be interested in, but that we can totally do together. It's an 8-week program, similarly structured to what we generally do at Find a Job in Germany. It's time limited, and it needs to fulfill the requirements that, of course, the Arbeitsagentur, the employment agency, is putting forward. So we are legally certified in order to provide that service. So to sum this up, getting laid off hurts, and you need to get your ducks in a row rather sooner than later. This video was hopefully helpful to you. And in case you like our channel, feel free to subscribe. And I'm looking forward to sharing a new video soon. All the best and take care.